On one side, you have got a team that simply cannot hit right now. Every single game feels exhausting to watch offensively. The energy feels flat, the power is missing, and honestly, it feels like everybody in Boston is waiting for someone inside this organization to finally make a move before this season slips away completely. But then, out of nowhere, another story starts catching fire. And when I saw this rumor start spreading, I had the exact same reaction probably all of you had. No way. Are we seriously talking about that right now? And the crazy part is, even if it sounds impossible, people around baseball are actually discussing it enough for fans to start imagining what this team could look like if something massive happened. That is what makes today feel different. Because these are not just random headlines anymore. These two stories together kind of tell you everything about where the Red Sox are mentally as an organization right now. Frustrated, desperate for offense, trying to stay alive in the wild card race, but also possibly looking for something that could completely change the direction of the season. And trust me, once we get into the details of both situations, you will understand why Red Sox fans are so divided right now between hope and full-blown panic. So before we jump into all of it, if you love talking Red Sox every single day with real fans who live and die with this team, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Red Sox Today. The channel is still brand new, we are pushing toward our first 3,000 subscribers, and honestly, it would be awesome to have you here from the very beginning of this community. So let's finally talk about what is really going on here with Craig Breslow, because this situation is starting to feel a lot more serious than the Red Sox probably expected coming into the season. The numbers are honestly brutal. The Red Sox are sitting at 18 wins and 25 losses in mid-May, dead last in the American League East, and the offense has completely disappeared. We are not talking about a little slump anymore. This team is literally last in the American League in runs scored with only 161, last in home runs with 31, last in slugging percentage at .354, and last in OPS at .667. That is unbelievably bad for a team that came into the season believing the lineup would carry them. And what makes this even more frustrating as a fan is that Boston has actually stayed somewhat alive in the playoff race despite all of this. They are still only 3 games out of an American League wildcard spot. That is the crazy part. The season has not collapsed yet, but it feels like everybody can see the danger coming if this offense does not wake up soon. And apparently Craig Breslow sees it too. According to Alex Spire from the Boston Globe, the Red Sox front office is actively discussing trade possibilities internally right now. Spire said the organization is spitballing both big and small trade ideas within their own walls, which tells you Boston knows standing still may not be an option anymore. Now, does that mean a blockbuster trade is about to happen tomorrow? Probably not. Spire also made it clear that the trade market this early in the season is an absolute mess. Most teams around Major League Baseball still believe they can compete, so almost nobody wants to sell. And when teams do make impact players available this early, the asking prices become insane. That is the part Red Sox fans need to understand. Craig Breslow cannot just magically fix the offense overnight if every team is demanding massive returns for hitters. Spire basically explained that these early trade conversations are usually more about teams making outrageous demands rather than real negotiations. And honestly, that makes complete sense. If another organization knows Boston is desperate for offense, why would they not try to rob the Red Sox in a deal? And this is where things get complicated emotionally for fans, because part of me understands why Breslow might hesitate to overpay right now. You do not want to destroy the future just because the offense forgot how to hit in May. But at the same time, how much longer can this continue? Because watching this lineup lately has been painful. There is no consistency, no fear factor, no power. Every game feels like the Red Sox are trying to survive on 2 runs. And even after Alex Cora's dismissal, the offense still looks asleep. That is what is really alarming here. Usually a major managerial shakeup gives a team some emotional spark. Instead, Boston still looks stuck offensively, and I think that is why these trade rumors are getting louder. The organization knows this roster imbalance is becoming impossible to ignore. The front office is still talking publicly about internal improvement, and honestly, they almost have to. They need players already on the roster to step up. But behind closed doors, you can absolutely tell Craig Breslow is exploring options because this offense is putting the entire season in danger. And what is scary is that this could force Boston into making decisions earlier than they wanted. Do they trust the current group to figure it out? Do they risk waiting too long? Or do they get aggressive before the market fully develops? That is the tension surrounding this team right now. Because even though the standings say they are only 3 games out of a wild card spot, the eye test tells a different story. This offense does not look sustainable. It does not look dangerous, and fans can feel the pressure building with every low-scoring loss. But then, just when Red Sox fans were already stressed enough about possible trades and offensive desperation, one rumor came flying out of nowhere that completely changed the conversation around this team. And the second you hear the name connected to Boston, your brain almost refuses to believe it is real. Okay, so now we need to talk about the Mike Trout situation, because even though most people around baseball are calling it unlikely, the fact Red Sox fans are even discussing this right now tells you how desperate this offense has become. This whole thing really exploded after Mike Felger from 98.5 The Sports Hub said on Tuesday that he had a source telling him, "Do not be surprised if Mike Trout to the Red Sox was on the table." And immediately, the internet lost its mind. Because we are talking about Mike Trout here, a future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest players of this generation, a guy nobody ever seriously imagined wearing a Red Sox uniform. Now, to be clear, there still has not been strong confirmation from major MLB insiders that this is actually close to happening. In fact, Ken Rosenthal and Scott Braun from Foul Territory were pretty aggressive shutting the rumor down publicly. Their stance was basically this: forget the Red Sox. Mike Trout probably is not getting traded at all. And honestly, from a logical baseball standpoint, you can understand why. Trout is still owed an enormous contract, $37.1 million per year through 2030. And he also has a full no-trade clause. That changes everything. It is not just about whether the Angels want to move him. Mike Trout himself would have to approve leaving Los Angeles. And that is where a lot of people around baseball become skeptical. Why would Trout waive his no-trade clause for Boston specifically if the Red Sox continue looking unstable over the next few months? That is the question industry people keep asking. But here is why this rumor became so fascinating to fans anyway. For the first time in years, the idea almost makes baseball sense from Boston's perspective. Think about the current state of this team. The Red Sox desperately need power. They desperately need a proven bat. They also have an outfield situation that still feels crowded and awkward roster-wise. So once people started imagining hypothetical packages, suddenly the conversation got really interesting. One possible framework floating around involved Jarren Duran and Brayan Bello going to the Angels, with Masataka Yoshida potentially included as part of the financial balancing. And honestly, that is where Red Sox fans became divided instantly. Because emotionally, it is terrifying. Jarren Duran has become one of the heartbeat players of this team. His energy, speed, competitiveness, fans love him. Trading Brayan Bello would also hurt badly because Boston still views him as an important part of the rotation long term. But then you look at the other side. This team is starving for elite power. And even though Mike Trout is not the same unstoppable MVP version from earlier in his career, he is still Mike Trout. The idea of adding a veteran superstar bat to the middle of this lineup while also potentially clearing the outfield logjam suddenly becomes extremely tempting when your offense is sitting dead last in the American League in almost every important category. That is why this rumor spread so fast. Not because people truly believe it is about to happen tomorrow, but because fans can actually picture how it could theoretically help both sides. And honestly, that is what makes baseball rumors fun sometimes. You start imagining Fenway Park exploding after a Mike Trout home run. You imagine him protecting the middle of the lineup. You imagine the pressure instantly shifting off younger players. You imagine what Alex Bregman, Rafael Devers, and Mike Trout could potentially look like together in a big game atmosphere. That is the fantasy part of this. But reality still matters. And the reality is this trade remains highly unlikely right now. The contract is gigantic. The no-trade clause is a major obstacle. The Angels may not even want to fully rebuild yet. And Boston itself still has to decide whether sacrificing major young talent for an aging superstar is actually smart long-term. That is why this situation feels so emotionally complicated as a Red Sox fan. Because on one hand, You know this offense needs help immediately. But on the other hand, you also know desperation can lead organizations into dangerous decisions. And honestly, that is what both of these stories together reveal about the Red Sox right now. This team is stuck between urgency and uncertainty. Craig Breslow knows changes may be necessary. The offense is forcing Boston to explore possibilities. Fans are dreaming about blockbuster solutions. But nobody truly knows yet whether this organization is one smart move away from saving the season or one bad decision away from creating even bigger problems. And when you really step back and connect both of these stories together, it honestly feels like the Red Sox are standing at a crossroads right now. Because the Craig Breslow trade conversations and the Mike Trout rumors both point to the exact same thing. This organization knows the current version of the offense is not good enough. That is the truth. You do not start internally discussing both big and small trade ideas in May if you believe everything is perfectly fine. And you definitely do not see fans seriously entertaining a Mike Trout blockbuster if this lineup was producing the way it was supposed to. This entire situation says a lot about the pressure surrounding the Red Sox right now. Craig Breslow is trying to balance the future with the present. The front office knows the team is only 3 games out of a wild card spot, which keeps hope alive. But at the same time, the underlying numbers are terrifying. Last place in runs, last place in home runs, last place in slugging, last place in OPS. That is not a small slump anymore. That is an identity crisis offensively. And honestly, I think that is why emotions are all over the place right now among Red Sox fans. Part of the fan base wants Boston to stay patient, trust the younger core, avoid panic trades, and let players like Jarren Duran, Brayan Bello, and the rest of the roster grow together naturally. But another part of the fan base is looking at this offense every night thinking, if they wait too long, this season is gone. And that tension is real. Because the American League wildcard race is still right there. Boston has not been buried yet. That is what makes this so frustrating. Even with all the struggles, this team is somehow still alive, which means the next few weeks could completely shape the direction of the season. If the offense wakes up, maybe Craig Breslow avoids making a desperate move. If things continue collapsing, the pressure for a major trade is only going to explode even more. And honestly, whether it is Mike Trout or somebody completely different, I think everybody can feel that the Red Sox are approaching a point where standing still may not be possible anymore. As fans, all we really want is to feel like this team has a direction again. We want to believe the organization sees the same problems we are watching every night. We want to believe there is still a real plan here. Because right now, the frustration is obvious, but so is the opportunity. This season is not dead yet. Not even close. But the next decisions Craig Breslow makes could define what the Red Sox become for the rest of 2026. And Red Sox Nation is going to be watching every single move. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and drop your opinion down in the comments because I really want to know where you stand on all of this. Would you actually trade for Mike Trout if the opportunity became real? Or do you think the Red Sox need to stay patient and trust the current core? And if you are new here, subscribe to Red Sox Today and come be part of this community with us. The channel is still growing. We are pushing toward our first 3,000 subscribers, and it would honestly mean a lot to have real Red Sox fans here from the beginning, riding through this crazy season together.